This is the book of Habakkuk 3 and 17. Although the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall fruit be in the vines, the labor of the olive shall fail, and the field shall yield no meat. The flock shall be cut off from the fold, and there shall be no herd in the stalls. Yet I will rejoice in Yahweh. I will joy in the God of my salvation. Yahweh God, Yahweh power is my strength, and he will make my feet like hinds' feet, and he will make me to walk upon mine high places, to the chief singer on my string instruments. All right, all praise be to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Achak Wadash. Double honors the apostle elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. So with this lesson, I got about, well, in addition to what I just read, I got about 10 verses that Spirit had me compile. You know, I looked some up, did a little research on this particular topic, and going into it, because sometimes in this kingdom you feel a sense of despair. You know, it's not a good feeling to have things not be, for things to be out of your control, for us to be under Esau, for everything to be opposed to um the righteous judgment of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. It's at times it can be a fucked up feeling, and death permeates through this whole entire society, man. Everything is death, from the food, the water, the air, the ground, the people, the mentalities, the interactions, the philosophies. It's all death. It's all death. And as I was reading this morning, I read the book of Habakkuk, and I was going through the third chapter, and this the 17th verse down to the 19th verse really hit, because it's basically mentioning the fig tree not blossoming. All of the things that's represented in the 17th verses basically would be death. Provisions around you failing. The circumstances around you of what you would typically rely on for sustenance, of all those things failing, but yet your circumstances doesn't determine. Our circumstances doesn't determine our trust and our belief and our faith in Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. So although we be in the midst of famine, although we be in the midst of death, although we be in the midst of destruction, although we be in the midst of the valley of the shadow of death, which I have that queued up, yet will we continue to trust in Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai no matter what. Okay, and that is what liberates us from this hell that we're in, man. Certain times you just, that's what patience means, to suffer. You're groggy, you're tired, and yet we have to continue to trudge on and march forward as good soldiers for Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. You see? Sometimes you feel heaviness. Sometimes, you just, your body is just, you just feel like that mental fog and that, that exhaustion from dealing with all the bullshit. But yet, that's why we have Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's why we're in this situation, to seek out our God 10 times more. Okay, so even though the fig tree doesn't blossom, even though the fruit of the vine doesn't bear, even though the flocks, even though there be no food, even though there be bad circumstances and evil all around us, all right, we're always going to rejoice in Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai no matter what. Hey, Shalom, Mark. All right, and Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai is our strength, man. In due time, man. In due time. All right, this whole shit is on the brink of collapse, man. Trump just gave Putin, just to touch on some current events, Trump just gave Putin a time frame of, ending his special operation in Ukraine. And if he doesn't, there's going to be consequences, which we'll see. Because they say one thing and then it's something else. They've been proven to be liars. Trump admitted that he lied when it comes to the so-called 12-day war, which that's another thing that could explode in any minute. So there's two fronts. There's the Ukraine front, and then there's the Iranian front. And basically, these are the beginnings and the makings of World War III. But yet, despite us seeing all these things, All right. Well, we're rejoicing to see them because we know that it's prophecy. All right, but it's all death. Okay, death, destruction, war, famine, and this place is really on the brink of collapse, man. The brink of collapse. Trump just made a post about civil war. Okay, Abraham Lincoln, he said that he's going to basically enact martial law. Okay, same thing we've been saying, and that's the beginnings of Jacob's trouble right there. Okay, because when that happens, what do you think is going to happen if he goes and arrests these Democrat mayors, man? That's going to cause a civil war. It's going to cause upheavals, riots, insurrection, sedition, everything that the scriptures talks about, and we're literally seeing it unfold before our eyes, man. And yet, though we are surrounded by death, and I'm gonna keep saying that because it's all around us. The cars that we drive, the fumes from it causes death. All right, cancer-causing ingredients and chemicals everywhere around us, man. The water is poison. Every second is something new. Everybody's languishing, man. You see? Well, we have a reason to rejoice. We have a reason to rejoice, and our reason is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, so though the storm clouds get dark and they turn to the darkest blackness you can imagine around us, yet we have the light. We are the light in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? The city that is set upon a hill cannot be hid. All right, Psalms 37:7. The brother put Psalms 37:7, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Yeah. So we have to be reminded of these things. Okay, now I got 10 verses. I'm not going to drag this lesson on. So I'm going to just kind of like rapid fire these. All right, and just quickly get into them. All right, Lord's will. This is edifying. All right. But I'm going to start off with Romans 8:28. Okay. This is Romans 8 and verse 28. And a lot of these are basically self-explanatory. So I'm going to do my best to be brief with my words and just get straight to the point. Romans 8:28. It says, and we know, you know what? I'm going to read from 26, Romans 8:26. Likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities. For we know not what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. You see, because, we pray and we do our best to pray and seek out the Lord and ask him for guidance and help. You see, we do those things, but yet, okay, the Spirit is making intercession for us, man. And our spirit is groaning, and it's things that can't even be communicated. And it's just the travail and the pain of us being in these bodies, being in captivity. At times, like the prophets of old, they felt helpless. They see wickedness all around them, and they're like, Lord, like, what are you gonna do about this? Like, this is out of control, man. But we have the Holy Spirit now, so the Spirit has shown us that this is all, we have the whole breakdown of why everything is happening. A lot of the, pretty much all of the questions that the prophets of old ask, and not knowing is part of suffering sometimes, but now we know. So that helps with our suffering. And it says that it helps with our infirmities. Okay. Salakia. Phone be dry all day. The minute you get a lesson up though, everybody and their mama want to call you. Hey, Salakia. Back in Romans 8:27, and he that searcheth the hearts knoweth what is the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercession for the saints according to the will of the Most High. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High, to them who are called according to his purpose. So even though, it seems like, the walls are closing in at times, listen, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua has us, man. And we got to remind each other of these things, man. You may have heard this, I guarantee you, if you've been in this truth for some time, for a number of years, you heard this before. But yeah, it don't hurt to have a reminder. John 8:12, then spake Yahushua again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that walketh, Salakia, he that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. You see, we're not walking in darkness. This darkness that's all around us is not consuming us. All right, the gates. I'm gonna get that. That's part of my list. It's later in the list, but I'm gonna grab it now because it fits. See, I'm gonna bring another precept up to break down that precept. Psalms 9 and 13. Have mercy upon me, O Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Consider my trouble, which I suffer of them that hate me. See, we have enemies. We have those that hate us because we believe in the true and living God. Thou that liftest me up from the gates of death. You see, lifted me up from the gates of death. Okay, what's around us now is all the gates of death. The jab juice and everything they put, it's just toxic. You feel, you feel that brain fog. That's why we got to continuously detox. But even when you detox, you're still being toxified. It's no like, brothers was speaking and the quote came up that we got the type of tired that sleep can't fix. Because our spirits are tired of being here, man. It's not a matter of, if I get some rest tomorrow, I'll be just perfectly fine the next day. Now, we have to get our rest, but the rest we need is that eternal rest, that rest that we're going to get in the kingdom. 1 Peter 5 and 10. But the God of all grace, who have called us unto his eternal glory by Hamashiach Yahushai, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, settle you. You see, after that you have suffered. So there's a promise that after this suffering that we're going through, the Lord is going to make us perfect. He's going to establish us, and he's going to strengthen us. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Okay, so hey man, that's straight to the point. Okay, how about Hashem Yahushai after our sufferings, which we're coming to the end of our sufferings, man. So we got to go. It's like we always mention the race, in that 400 meter. That's what I ran in high school. When you get to that last bend, because that's one lap around the track, it's a quarter mile. When you go to halfway is 200. Once you hit that halfway, you come around that bend, and that's the point that we're at in this thing. You're coming around that bend, and once you hit the end of that bend, it's one last straightaway, and that's the end of the race. And we're coming around that bend. We see the end goal in sight, man. Psalms 23 and 1. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. And these are things that are representative of peace, being in the kingdom. All right. Because Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is our shepherd. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yeah, because the Lord is not a man that he should lie. He promised that he was going to deliver us. He promised that he was going to save this, the elect of the seed of Israel. Okay, so, and that's what he's doing. All right, and this is the point. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me. They comfort me. You see, and those are instruments of the shepherd. All right, to protect the flock, to maintain the flock, to even correct the flock. All right. But those things comfort us because we know that there is a shepherd looking out for us. So though we walk in the midst of death, the valley of the shadow of death, that means death is looming all around us, man. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we tormented in sleep. Can't even get if you get a good night's sleep, that's rare in this kingdom, man. Now that's just my experience. And I spoke to other brothers that have that. You might be a brother that you get some decent sleep, but you have other hell that you catch. But either way, it ain't really no type of it's not really what it should be. Nothing is what it should be in this kingdom. All right. So even though we're in the valley of the shadow of death, we keep the faith of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. We don't succumb to the woes around us. Okay. Isaiah 40. Straight to the point. Isaiah 40 and 31. It reads, but they that wait upon Yahweh shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Yeah, those are those that are waiting on the Lord. So they're going to have that SP, that spiritual power, running without getting tired, the power to take flight. Nothing is going to be impossible in that day to the men that are faithful. All right, John 16 and 20. Again, I'm just rapid firing these, not trying to be too long winded. John 16:20, verily, verily, I say unto you that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice, and ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. So even though the world is rejoicing now because they love this current wicked setup, and we're the ones mourning, there's going to come a time where the Lord is going to put that uno reverse, and everything that we're feeling, they're going to feel that. And the joy, is going to return back to us. All right, we're going to be the ones to rejoice. And we're already rejoicing in the Lord, but how much more when he makes good on his promises? Okay. I just got a handful more. Psalms 46:1. Okay, it says, to the chief musician for the sons of Korah, a song upon Alamoth. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. Salah. Right. And the waters represents those nations as well. So even though trouble, earthquake, tsunami, death, tornadoes, all our pandemonium is all around us. Murderers, thieves, conniving weasels, man. All right. Knaves and scoundrels all around us, man. Yet we don't fear. Okay. Yeah, my check engine light just came on. That's all part of being in the valley of shadow of death, man. Yeah, I got a couple more. Isaiah and hey, man, rejoice when we suffer. Just know why we're suffering, man. We're suffering because the Lord loves us, and we have to suffer before we get up out of here. Isaiah 43:2, it says, when thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. You see? And this is the fiery trial that we're in. This is, reminiscent of, us running from Pharaoh and going through the midst of the sea, going over, passing over the Jordan to get into the land of promise, the promised land. And yet through all those adversities, the Lord never forsook us. He always looked out for us, man. And that's why, for our culture, our true culture, which is Hebrew Israelite culture, which is biblical, 100% biblical, based off sound doctrine, it's very heavy in our culture to reminisce about the times that the Lord delivered us. And this is something that we have to do in these last days. I mean, when do we need it more than the current time that we're in, man? Look at how much adversity it is in these last days against us. But yet, again, we walk through that fire, we will not be burnt. We walk in the midst of the sea, we will not be drowned. No matter what trouble awaits, we're going to continue to prevail through the names of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. All right. And the last one, closing it out. All right. Just straight to the point. Just wanted to hit these points, man. Psalm 30:5. For his anger endureth but for a moment. In his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. You see, and even though we're going through it, we're suffering, we're going through these afflictions and infirmities, trials, mental anguish, different things. The Lord's mercy is unfailing. And the Lord said, what? We just read it that, the tears endure for a night. Matter of fact, I'm going to read it one more time. All right. Cause that's a heavy one right there, man. Applying it to what we're going through. All right. Real quick. Yep. Psalms 30:5 once again. And it reads, for his anger endureth but for a moment, and his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. And we're coming to the time where that night is about to be over, and the morning, which is going to be the time of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's deliverance. All right. The new day in Yahweh Shai is coming, man. And just keep enduring, brothers. Just keep enduring, keep praying, and don't get off the path, man, because at the end of this is going to be joy and a feeling that is just indescribable, man. Just having that salvation, knowing that we're good for eternity, man, is like there's nothing that can't even put into words, you know, how magnificent it's really going to be. So we just have to continue on. All right, we have to, you know, not falter, and don't let the circumstances around you determine your mindset. All right, keep a heavenly mindset, keep a spiritual mindset, keep an immortal mindset. All right, because that's the mindset that's going to have us prevailing in the days to come. All right, which is all through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Rakak Wadash. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's it, bro. Yeah, you said it, bro. When I think of the rest, I think of that last scene with Thanos in that field. Yeah, man. He was just taking a deep breath, and it's just like no more traffic jams, no more. Oh man, bro, it's gonna be so your pod, bro. It's just whatever we're suffering now, man. That's another one that would have been good to bring out. But I'm gonna just quote it. You know, the sufferings of this life are not worthy to be compared with the glory that shall be revealed in us, man. I'm paraphrasing it. You know which one I'm talking about, you brothers of the household of faith. All right. And hey, man, you know, just keep enduring, brothers. Take it one day at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. Praying to the Lord, fast if you have to. Don't be afraid to cut off certain situations. You know, don't be afraid to say no. You know, set boundaries and make sure you guard your mind and your spirit and your mind. All right. Guard yourself. Okay. Because, you know, these people don't give a fuck, man. They don't give a damn about Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, about the truth, about righteousness. So don't let these people get you off your square, man. Stay on point, stay sharp, stay locked in. Iron sharpeneth iron. Build with the brothers, all right? With that, all praise be unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem B'chak Wadash. Shalom to the next one.